Africa region parliaments call for greater cooperation among Commonwealth countries. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to discard incident forms in 2019 elections. Federal government offers jobs to 350 Niger Delta ex-militants. Power generating companies threaten shutdown over 1.213 trillion naira outstanding debt. Welcome to Television Nigerian News at this time. I am Anthony Momodu. Leadership of the Nigerian National Assembly and several heads of parliaments across Africa over the weekend kicked off the 74th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Executive Committee meeting in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, with a call for greater cooperation among Commonwealth countries. The conference aimed at strengthening law making in Africa and other Commonwealth countries had in attendance Deputy Senate President Senator Ike Ekweremadu, Speaker of House of Representatives Honorable Yakubu Dogara, Bayelsa State Governor Sarike Dixon, Senators Ben Moribus, Emmanuel Polka, and Foster Ogola, all from Bayelsa State, and Assembly speakers from Adamawa, Bayelsa, Abia, Cross River, and Kogi states, among others. Some of those who attended from the rest of Africa included Speaker of Botswana Parliament, Gladys Kokowe, Chairperson of the Executive Committee of the CPA, Lindiwe Maseko, African Region President of the body, Gladys Kokowe, and lawmakers from Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, Namibia, Zambia, Tanzania, and South Africa. All those who spoke at the event agreed that the legislature remains the symbol of democracy all over the world, maintaining that an attack on lawmakers was a direct affront and danger to democracy. They also called for greater cooperation among Commonwealth countries and fairness to all members. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) will not use the incident form in 2019 elections as the card reader will be effectively utilized. The resident electoral commissioner in Imo State, Professor Francis Eziono, said this at a town hall meeting campaign of the Commission on Continuous Voter Registration in Bema, Oguta local government of Imo. He said that the Commission was upgrading the card reader machines to make it more functional and effective during elections. He told the participants and politicians that the era of playing pranks with people's permanent voters card during elections was gone, adding that anyone with a card that the reader did not recognize would be disenfranchised and would not be given any incident form. He advised politicians and party faithfuls to ensure they did their homework well when campaign commenced, adding that any plan to rig in whatever form would be a waste of time and effort. The Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Borough, retired, said the federal government has so far offered employment to 350 Niger Delta ex-agitators who graduated from various tertiary institutions across the world. He said the 350 graduates were among the about 30,000 ex-agitators sponsored for various studies abroad by the Amnesty Office. Borough further disclosed that the ex-agitators who benefited from the job opportunities had already been posted to various federal ministries, awaiting approval of the 2018 appropriation bill by the National Assembly. The Special Advisor further debunked reports that some of the ex-agitators studying abroad had been abandoned following the failure of the Amnesty Office to pay their school fees and allowances. When we return after this break, power generating companies threaten shutdown over 1.213 trillion naira outstanding debts. You are still watching the news on television Nigerian. 13 power generation companies, GENCOs, have warned that they may be forced to shut down operations if the federal government did not rescind the preferential treatment it is meting out to some operators at the expense of others. The government is alleged to have provided sovereign guarantees for World Bank partial risk guarantee for Azura Power and Akugas Limited, a subsidiary of Seven Energy, to enable them receive payment for supply 100%. Ahead of the possible shutdown, the GENCOs have already instituted legal actions against the government, which they claimed owed about 1.213 trillion naira or more than 10% of Nigeria's proposed national budget for electricity supplied from 2013 till date. 12 of these GENCOs, which include the biggest players in the industry, have combined installed capacity of 9,048.15 megawatts, which, if shut down, will throw the economy into crisis, especially as even with the combined output, Nigeria presently generates about 4,046.34 megawatts. The GENCOs are demanding for confirmation of a plan for 100% payment of all outstanding indebtedness and interest due to the GENCOs for electricity supply and ancillary services provided for them. 100% payment of all invoices to be submitted by GENCOs under the Payment Assurance Program, and payment of all sums due as capacity charge to the GENCOs from 2013 till date. Successive governments have struggled to boost generation capacity, which have sunk over $16 billion since the democratic dispensation, but without significant change in the supply of electricity for commercial and domestic use, such that Nigeria is the biggest market for generating sets in the world. On a sad note, the first civilian governor of Adamawa State, Abubakar Michika, is dead. He died Sunday morning at the Federal Medical Center, Yola, after a prolonged illness. Born in 1941, the late Abubakar Michika was the first civilian governor of Adamawa State from January 2, 1992 to November 17, 1993, under the National Republican Convention Party. The late former governor has since been buried according to Islamic rites. In sports, Western United of England faces Football Association probe after the troubled club's owners David Gold and David Sullivan were forced to flee their seats when furious fans ran riot at the London Stadium. Several West Ham supporters invaded the pitch during Saturday's 3-0 Premier League defeat against Burnley, while hundreds of fans gathered beneath the director's box to protest against Gold and Sullivan. Fans made throat-slitting gestures while missiles were seen to be thrown in the direction of the executive seats and chants of "Sack the board and you killed our club." The FA is also set to launch a probe, and the East London club, currently just 3 points above the relegation zone, could be hit with a heavy fine or even forced to play matches behind closed doors as punishment for the disturbances. Still talking sports, in athletics, American Michael Norman broke the world indoor 400 meters record in only his third race in the event. The 20-year-old is the under-20 world 200 meters champion and clocked 44.52 seconds at the U.S. Collegiate Indoor Championship in Texas. Norman eased through the first lap in 21.33 seconds on his way to the record. His time took 0.05 seconds off the previous mark set in 2005 by compatriot Keron Clement, who won gold in the 400 meters hurdles at the 2016 Rio Olympics. And on the foreign scene, United States Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will on Monday arrive Abuja as part of his ongoing tour of some African countries. The U.S. scribe will be received at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Olukunle Bambose. Tillerson's visit, according to U.S. Department of State, is to further U.S. partnership with governments and people of Africa. Tillerson is billed to meet with President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday morning at the presidential villa. During the visit, the U.S. scribe is expected to discuss ways the United States can work with partners to counter terrorism, advance peace and security, promote good governance, and spur mutual beneficial trade and investment. Tillerson had last week met with the leadership of the African Union Commission in Addis Ababa, where he raised concerns over Chinese loans to African countries. China has approved the removal of term limits for its leader in a move that effectively allowed Xi Jinping to remain as president for life. The constitutional change were passed by China's annual sitting of the National People's Congress on Sunday. The vote was widely regarded as a rubber-stamping exercise. 2 delegates voted against the change and 3 abstained out of the 2,964 votes. China had imposed a 2-term limit on its president since the 1990s. To end the news, a recap of the major stories. Africa region parliaments call for greater cooperation among Commonwealth countries. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to discard incident forms in 2019 elections. Federal government offers jobs to 350 Niger Delta ex-militants. Power generating companies threaten shutdown over 1.213 trillion naira outstanding debt. That's the news on television Nigerian at this hour. And I will leave you with this thought. You can't change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails to always reach your destination. Thanks for watching. I am Anthony Momodu. Have a wonderful day ahead.